Who is blank? And on today's episode, on the inaugural episode, I thought I would do a deep dive into Dimash Qudaibergen. Well, I keep wanting to give it a German ending on his last name, and I know that's entirely not correct because he's not German. He's from Kazakhstan. So, you know, there is that, but I wanted to do a deep dive into the legend, the vocal legend that is Dimash. Also, I've been saying his first name incorrectly, and I cannot remember how to, in fact, pronounce it correctly. So, Dimash, I think it's Dimash? Maybe it's Dimash. I don't know. Remind me down in the comments down below, please. That would be great. Doing a deep dive into a guy, and I don't even know how to say his name. That's fun. At a surface level, Dimash is a singer from Aktob, Kazakhstan. Thanks for watching. Nah, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't end the video like that. Kind of crazy nonsense would that be? You can clearly see the runtime, so joke ruined by playback feature, but it is what it is. Well, I'm not entirely kidding. He is actually from Kazakhstan, and he is often hailed as one of the most talented and skilled and other adjectives singer to have lived, or at least currently alive right now. And I, for one, kind of agree with this statement. Here's why. So, when Dimash was 5, he started training on the piano, as well as taking vocal lessons at the music college in Aktob's Music College. When he was older, he went on to complete a Broadway musical masterclass at the same university. And this was when he was like super small, and then he went on to complete a degree in classical music from said music college. His academic achievements do not stop there, however. He also has completed a master's degree in composition, which, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with how master degrees work, at least here in the US, and I assume most other places as well, is the whole process of doing the master degree, you take all the classes, and then at the end of it, you write your master's thesis, and you have to defend it in front of a board of pretty much judges, but they're also other professionals and professors and stuff like that. And when Dimash was defending his thesis to achieve his master's degree, he obtained a perfect score. Now, I'm not entirely certain how difficult that is to do, but I would assume it's pretty difficult because, like, you're gonna miss, say, one thing somewhere along the line and then you're gonna get dinged for it. He did not, which continues to add to just the overall mystique of Dimash and just how he handles pretty much everything. Also, upon completing his master's degree and his phenomenal performance with defending his thesis, he obtained a recommendation for the doctoral program. So that is just his education. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Dimash has performed songs in Kazakh, Russian, English, wait bro, how long is this list? Mandarin, Chinese, Italian, French, Spanish, German, Serbian, Turkish, Ukrainian, oh boy, this one, I don't even know how to say that, and Japanese. That's an impressive list right there. So even though he's performed songs in all of those various languages, he doesn't speak all of them, which, I mean, again, you don't have to speak a language to be able to perform a song in it. He currently speaks Kazakh and Russian, and reportedly he is currently studying English and Mandarin. So, you know, just casual. Aside from the fact that he can perform songs in all of these languages and is currently studying to and speaks to, another distinctive characteristic of Dimash, outside of the fact that he can speak 2 languages, is learning to and can perform songs in this many languages, is his impressively, extremely other adjectives, wide vocal range. For real, I can't even begin to describe how impressive his vocal range truly is. It spans 6 octaves. 6 octaves. For those of you unaware of what like a average singer's octave range is, it's about 2 to 3, with, I believe, Mariah Carey can do 5 octaves. So Dimash can do an extra octave on top of that, which, the fact that, I mean, if you've heard him sing, it's not ridiculous to think that he can do double the vocal range of an average singer, but he can do double the range of an average vocal singer. Average vocal singer? Average singer. Average vocalist? One of the two. Smash them together, it's fine. And also, his whistle tone hits the 8th octave, which I'm fairly certain the 8th octave is not on the piano. Like, it exceeds the high, what is it, high C? Is the last key. So he can hit a note that's not even on the piano. Bruh. So in continuing talking about him singing, which haven't even touched on the different instruments the man can play, he sings in, if you've heard any of his songs or listened to any of his stuff or watched any of my videos, you can very clearly tell that he doesn't really stick to one particular genre. He kind of just does whatever. But his main genre technically is classic, or classical, I should say. However, he also sings songs in like the pop or folk or rock or pretty much any genre he sings, but mainly, I mean, he's formally trained in classical. And obviously this kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways, that he uses stylistic techniques from pretty much all genres, which a lot of people do, which is kind of how you get like those unique like little pockets of like within a genre, you get someone who sounds a little bit different because they pull, you know, things from elsewhere. Like in pop, like someone will pull like a rock style vocal or R&B, or like just kind of like mix and mash styles and genres to kind of just give a new, you know, sound to something. But the ones that he kind of pulls from the most, that are the most distinctive, are jazz, rock, apparently scream. I haven't gotten to one of those yet, but I'm excited for that day. And also rap, I've heard he's done, so I'm excited for that as well. So in the process of researching this video, in all honesty, I knew that Dimash was an incredibly impressive singer, but the more that I learn about him, the farther up he goes into the legend category, because not only does he sing in all those different languages, has a vocal range of 6 octaves, with his whistle tone being in the 8th octave. He also plays 6, technically 7 different instruments. Bruh. He plays the bayan, which is a type of accordion. He plays the dombra, which is a 2-stringed instrument with like a longer neck and a oblong shaped body. This thing right here. He plays the drums, he plays the guitar, he plays the marimba, and the piano. Now technically that is 6. So when I said technically he plays 7, the 7th one is he plays keyboard, which, I mean, if you think about it, keyboard and piano are essentially the same instrument, but the difference is with a keyboard, you can play different pads, like you can put an organ sound or a synth and stuff like that. So technically it kind of is a different instrument, kind of isn't the same at the same time. Just, you know, it's just, it is what it is. So that's his capabilities and qualifications, I guess, described. Now let's get on to him actually putting these things into practice. In 2010, Dimash won the Sonoros Voices of Baikonur. In 2012, he won Zaus Kanat. Also in 2012, he won the Oriental Bazaar. And in 2013, he won the Make in Asia competitions. Those are just his early career things, you know, just casually just winning all of these competitions. Which, mind you, currently, he is 29. So back in 2010, you know, 23 minus 10, 13 years ago, he was still a teenager when he did this, which is nuts. In 2017, Dimash would go on to compete on the Chinese music competition show called I Am a Singer, which that's where the Opera 2 performance comes from that I have reacted to and then a lot of other people have reacted to, which later on, as the show was airing, I believe it was Dimash's mother who stated that he had told her that he just wanted to make it midway through the competition just to kind of get out there and open up to a new market, but he ended up placing 2nd overall in the entire competition and only lost to a well-decorated Chinese performer. In fact, it was so successful for him that he ended up winning 3 episodes with his performances. The first episode he won was episode 1 with a performance of SOS. The second episode was when he performed Opera 2 and won and crushed that performance. And he also won episode 6 with a performance of the song Adagio. Also, might I add, he was 22 at the time when he did this, which it's incredible. This really served as a springboard for his career, you know, because he not only opened up to one of the largest markets for multimedia that exist, which is the Chinese market, he also showed how fantastic of a singer he was very clearly. So funny story, actually, while he was competing on that show, he was the one who recorded Go Go Power Rangers for the Chinese version of Power Rangers. He recorded I believe it's their ending theme, which I have a reaction plan for that, so stay tuned, I guess. I don't know. Throughout 2018, he continued to see massive success in the Chinese market, performing dozens of times across dozens of shows, and I believe he also did a few solo performances not affiliated with any show, including performing his own song, The Unforgettable Day, or Unforgettable Day, I don't know if there's a "the" in front of it, which he performed at the Miss World final, which is a global beauty pageant. If I'm being completely honest, a lot of what I just said is not an all-inclusive or all-exhaustive list by any means of his accomplishments. This is just kind of like the high-level highlight stuff. If I was to include everything, this would probably be closer to like a 30-minute video. So if you would like me to do a part 2 where I do a deep dive into his career and everything, let me know down in the comments down below. But yeah, just know there's so much to this man. And that wasn't just 8 years of his career. That wasn't ending in 2018. There's been more stuff since then. Which, you know, after all of that, you know, how with balancing this immense career, you know, he probably just kicks back and kind of just like does whatever, right? You know, just when he's not, you know, making music or performing, he's just like kicking back, you know, enjoying his life. Wrong. Completely incorrect. Because not only is that, he's done modeling and acting. Like, for modeling, I'm just gonna read it off of my script because I can't really remember all of these. He has done a cover shoot for Men's Health, Southern Metropolis, Starbucks, Easy, Les Officiels Homes, Ivy Plume, Chic, Chic Teen, and Elle. So there's that. And also, he's done photo shoots for Only Lady and Cosmopolitan. I'm pretty sure that he's just been on every single, you know, major magazine publication that exists, or at least that I've ever heard of. He's also starred in major TV productions in Russia and in China. So again, you know, casual, just like your average Wednesday. He's also been a judge at a few singing competitions such as the Slavic Bazaar, which he's performed at, but also judged in, and Balal Dusi. Probably didn't say that right. And New Wave and Super Vocal. So like 4 all inclusive. So that's his entire career. Not really. That's a very brief overview of his entire career, plus all of his side hustles. Cause like, why not, right? This is a bit of an aside, but I'm just gonna include it anyways. I was very perplexed when I started doing Dimash content, because all of a sudden people were just saying deers and deer and deer and deer and deers and deer and deers and deer and deers. I was very confused why I kept seeing that. I caught on eventually that that's what Dimash calls his fans. He has stated in interviews saying, "People call singers stars, and my fans treat me with great love and respect. They appreciate my work and lift it to the skies. And I, in turn, also wanted to appreciate them. So I chose this word, deers." Which is honestly really refreshing to hear a global superstar like Dimash just shows such love and appreciation for his fans, because sometimes some people, they tend to not do that and do quite the opposite. So it's nice to just see someone being like, hey, I wouldn't have my career without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So all in all, there is absolutely so much to Dimash, and like I said, I'm only touching the surface in this video, and I've already been recording for about 22 minutes. So yeah, it's really impressive just how much he's done in his career, and he's only 29, so he still has such a long career ahead of him. But thank you so much for watching this deep dive into who is Dimash. It's been a lot of fun to not only write, but record and research and all that sort of stuff. So again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you absolutely all enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you want to see another video in this series about Dimash, or another video in this series about somebody else, please feel free to drop it in the comments down below, and I cannot wait to interact and read everybody's comments. So without any further ado, I'm not launching into my intro, I'm actually launching into my outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've said it 3 times now. I hope you absolutely all enjoyed it. I've said that twice now, and I will catch you guys all next time. God bless.